Titans, Saints, crazy back and forth game today. Two rookie quarterbacks going at it. Tyler Shuck absolutely bombed the Tennessee Titans secondary, and furthering to PK's sentiment about the Tennessee Titans, all the decisions they have made with their secondary last offseason and this season leading up to today is just a culmination of you put practice squad guys out there, you put them on Johnson, Olave, and in my keys to the game, I said we knew Kellen Moore would dial up some shots for those guys, and they dialed them up and they cashed in. Crazy play from Chase Young with a strip sack touchdown that really changed the momentum of the game. Then Cam Ward made a crazy play in the fourth quarter that got overturned that would have had the Titans first and goal just about. But ultimately, Titans secondary just was too lost, gave up too many bombs to the Saints, as well as Audric Estime, running back that a lot of Titan fans wanted to get this offseason that they wanted to pick up and sign on waivers, wind up coming back to bomb us. I think he may have had 13 or 14 carries for almost 100 yards. Titans gave up a gazillion yards of total offense today. Tyler Shuck, 22 of 27, 333, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 2 sacks. Had a sack fumble from Jeff Simmons, but I don't think they got enough pressure on Shuck. And then Cam Ward, 21 of 40, 251, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but sacked 4 times, and one of those for a touchdown. Both teams ran the ball about the same, 103 yards for the Saints, 108 yards for the Tennessee Titans. But Olave, 8 for 119 and a touchdown, and Jawan Johnson, 4 for 95. Seemed like Jawan Johnson was open the whole entire game. And then if we want to go to team stats, like I said, I thought the Saints had let's see, total yards of offense, 423 yards of total offense on the road in Nashville. You can't give that up at home and expect to win. But GG's to all my Saints fans out there, man. Y'all look like y'all found y'all coach. Your team is jailed down the stretch, and Tyler Shuck is developing directly into what y'all want him to be. Just got to have a good offseason. Y'all traded Shaheed, so you should have extra draft picks, extra draft capital right at the top 10 in the draft with the Tennessee Titans to go after some talent to help that young team develop and grow. This Sunday night football game is kind of crazy up and down, Coop. Comedy 2 times. Big Jeff KT2 said Penn State legend Jawan Johnson, he bombed us today. Looked like he was open the whole game, and they couldn't tackle. Steelers got to cough up the bag now. Yet crazy that the Steelers lose to the Browns. Shedeur Sanders 13-6 game. Is the DK Metcalf suspension biting them in the... And we got the Shamrock, great battle between the two rookies. Yeah, that was a good game right there. Adrian Hart, GG's. It definitely was a good game. Shout out to all my Saints fans. Man, y'all been one thing I say about the Saints fans, y'all are level-headed. Most fan bases be crazy. Y'all was pretty solid going back and forth today. I rock with the Saints fan base. Jonathan Tiggs, so the defense should be a priority in the offseason. I feel like it was before, but like, you know, I don't always agree with other Titans media personalities, but I definitely agree with PK's piece that he wrote today about, teach you how to vibe. L'Jarius Sneed, alleged drive-by shooting, Jarvis Brownlee on the Jets. Let me teach you how to vibe. Roger McCreary on the Rams. Then you go to cornerback 4, Marcus Harris out IR. And then you go to Cheeto Awuzie, who would have been another starting corner, is on the Ravens. And they got a play-in game, Steelers-Ravens next Sunday, with Derrick Henry been going crazy. He's been playing good for them. So you really starting at cornerback 7 with Baker Jr. off waivers. Womack, they cut him. Then you go to Armar Davis out for the season today on IR. So, you know, that's cornerback 7, 8, and 9. And then 10 is Kairi Lam and Kaman Hall.
Let me teach you how
if I'm saying his name correctly, you know, you get down to like cornerback 10 and starting, you in a bad situation up front in the office of being able to put depth and talent on the field. And it cost them today. It seemed like Olave and Johnson was running open, and he missed. Shook missed him a couple times where like he overthrew him where they was wide open. Shook and Cam both balled. Going down throw was crazy. Yeah, Cam got that in him. He's a wide receiver turned tight end, so he can really run routes. Yo, Corey. Ravens Joe. He said, do you think the Titans will end the season with the number 4 pick? It's a site that I follow that will give us the update. I told y'all that the Raiders would lose to the Giants on purpose today, and that took the Giants out of the number 1 pick and put the Raiders solely in first place of the number 1 pick. The Cardinals are behind the Titans, and then you have the Giants now on basically dropped themselves like 4 spots in the first overall pick race. So Titans are guaranteed a top 5 pick at this point. Titans are guaranteed a top 5 pick. What's good, Ocho, man? Bill, what's good? Definitely a classic game going on tonight. So let me pull this up. Y'all know I keep this type of stuff on deck. Let me get to this account. If y'all are on Twitter, Seth Walder on Twitter, he's got the projected draft order coming into Sunday. The Raiders were 1, Giants 2, Browns 3, Jets 4, Titans 5, Cardinals 6, Commanders 7. Raiders lose to Giants on purpose, get the number 1 pick. Giants drop down, Browns drop down, Jets and Titans move up. So now Jets pick 2nd, Titans pick 3rd, Cardinals lost, they pick 4th, and Commanders will pick 5th. Titans play Jaguars to end the season. And now we look down the stretch to see that the top 5 should be locked at this point. Raiders, Jets, Titans, Cardinals, Commanders. Then Giants and Browns drop down. And if we're looking at the NFL schedule, for week 18, you'll have the Jets play Buffalo at Buffalo. So the Jets will probably lock in the 2 or 3 seed. Jets got a top 3 pick. Raiders got the number 1 pick. The Browns go to Cincinnati. Kansas City will play the Raiders. I'm pretty sure the Raiders will lose that game at home to lock in the number 1 pick. And then you have the Commanders go to Philadelphia, who won tonight in a crazy game over the Bills. So I expect Washington to have a top 5 pick. And then we go down. Titans play at Jacksonville. Jacksonville can lock in the AFC South, I believe, with a win at home over the Titans. So that would put the Titans in a top 5 pick, potentially top 2 or 3, but it's no way I see the Jets winning at Buffalo, and no way the Raiders beat the Chiefs to get the number 1 seed. But if somehow, some way, the Raiders beat the Chiefs in the season finale, then that would put the Jets with the number 1 pick. Jets would have the number 1 pick and 2 first rounders. Titans would be right behind them. Then it would be let's see, who do the Cardinals and Commanders play down the stretch? Commanders play at Philly. They'll have the 3 or the 4 pick, and then Cardinals play on the road at the Rams. So all the teams that's fighting for a pick are playing teams that should beat them, with the exception of the Raiders. The Raiders could beat the Chiefs if the Chiefs are really tanking. So this could be an interesting end that if the Raiders win this game, they will be probably the dumbest franchise I've seen in recent memory. Let me teach you how to vibe. If you're the Raiders, you lose on purpose. You've already got Max Crosby out for the season, going on IR to get surgery. If you're the Raiders, you lose this game and lock the number 1 pick. If somehow the Raiders win, the Jets could have the number 1 pick and 2 first rounders, which would be really crazy. He said, and with the 3rd pick in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans select. There's a chance that the Tennessee Titans, there's an honest chance that the Tennessee Titans could get the 2nd pick in the draft. But you know what's funny? The Jets had a 2.5% chance of getting the number 1 pick coming into this Sunday. And if the Raiders win against the Chiefs in week 18, the Jets would have the number 1 overall pick, followed by the Titans, Cardinals, Commanders, Giants, Browns. Let's see. That's crazy. So like, I think what's going to swing is, what do the Raiders do? The Browns go to Cincinnati, and then the Chiefs play at Las Vegas. Those 3 games will determine who gets the number 1 pick. You know, best case scenario for the Titans is Raiders win, Browns beat the Bengals, and like there's no chance that the Jets beat Buffalo, but I think the Jets have got at least the 2nd overall pick locked in. Yeah, Cam been looking good after the bye. But see, back when I told y'all I like this quarterback class, Cam Ward, Shedeur, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Will Howard, Jalen Milroe. It's some guys we ain't got to see, but everybody was so high on this class coming this year. But what happened to Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik and all these guys that they told us was going to be the quarterback class worth waiting on? And it seems as if everybody who drafted their quarterback is got a guy. Looks like they all got a guy. And leave it to week 18 to see who tanks. If I'm the Raiders, I tank. And if it stays set, I'm cool with that. Raiders, Jets, Titans will have a top 3 pick. That would be great. The Titans have so many holes to fill at defensive back, at edge, wide receiver. They got to really figure out what they want to do with the offensive line. Offensive line that had jailed the last month came into today. They didn't play bad, but they didn't play good either. And that strip sack from Chase Young, if JC Latham plays to the whistle, that never happens. You know, you kind of give up on a play and your quarterback extends it and gets hit because you gave up on it. If you look at when Chig was trying to run down Chase Young, there was a player for the Saints that ran and held him off, and then they didn't hold him off when Kamon Hall when they got the strip on Pettis. And then you look at certain situations when people don't finish the play, when people don't block downfield, that's when you get those strip fumbles from behind, when people kind of give up on a play. You said they dogged it last year. Antonio said, hold my beer. Thank God he did. I know Josh Allen is hurt. They might take that L. I didn't like this QB class or the next one, but there always will be some good QBs. Not necessarily that Kenny Pickett year was trash. But this was my point, was I think the Titans made the right move by drafting Cam. If they would have taken, you know, Abdul Carter or whoever they was waiting on, you know, in this situation, they would be right back in this situation trying to draft a QB. And if Dante Moore decides to stay in college, if Ty Simpson goes back and it's just Fernando Mendoza, I'm not crazy about Mendoza as the top pick. I'm just not. But you know, some people are excited, and some teams have no choice but to go after. I think I honestly think whoever gets Will Levis, or if Joe Milton ever gets a shot, I think it's some backup guys. I mean, if I was a team, for a Bridge, a guy like Davis Mills wouldn't be bad. It's some teams that might be better served taking Bridges than throwing a first overall pick at the QBs this upcoming draft. Most QBs fail because of their scheme, situation, fit. Most of the time, talent ain't the problem. But if it's a team that's in such dire need, like right now, the Raiders and the Jets and a few other teams that have to get QBs because they just in a situation where, you the Jets, you got 2 first rounders. You the Browns, if they believe in Shador, which I think they should, I think they wasted a draft pick with Dylan Gabriel. But in these situations, like, you're trying to rebuild and you're trying to rebuild fast. You want to be the Patriots, you want to be the Bears, you want to be the Broncos, you want to be these teams that hired the right coach, made the right moves in the offseason and free agency, and drafted right and built something that could turn your team around quick.
Let me teach you how to
watching the game. Bears and 49ers is a good game. GG today. I don't know why we're trying to win games. I want a top 5 because you got young players. Most of the Tennessee Titans team is practice squad guys and rookies. You want your rookies to get out and play and get reps. Like, the Titans can't get the number 1 pick. They was playing another team that's gonna have a top 10 pick. So if the Titans would have beat the Saints today, like, that wouldn't have changed nothing about. It wouldn't have changed nothing about the picking order, because the Browns won, the Giants won, the Jets lost, and the Raiders lost. So, like, you don't move up. The Titans had a 0% chance of getting the number 1 pick. Why would you not play to get reps for your young players? I mean, Cam Ward is extending the rookie franchise passing records. Gunnar Helm is extending the rookie tight end records. Jim DK broke Tim Brown's all-time rookie all-purpose yards record.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
A.O. Monner and some of those guys. And plus, for the guys that was in the secondary that was getting their ass kicked today, you wanted to see if you go to Spotrac and look at the cornerbacks that's going to be up in free agency, the Titans have like 4 or 5 of them. Like, you want to see what Elam got. He's a former first-round talent. You want to see what Armar Davis got. Unfortunately, he got, put on IR and he's out for the season. And then you got Baker Jr. and some of these young guys in the secondary. You want to see what you got. So you got to put them out there and get them reps because Titans got a lot of decisions to make. You want to see if your offensive line can hold up. You spent so much money and draft capital on. If they can hold up the last 2 months of the season. Since the bye week, the Titans have been playing good football. So you want to play. So, I don't understand the logic of saying we want to lose on purpose, even if it means losing a home game to the Saints with a bunch of rookies on your team. Got you nowhere closer to the number 1 pick than you did. Even if they won the game today, it wouldn't change them. The Titans have a 60% chance coming into this week that they was going to have a top 5 pick anyways. So, with the Raiders and the Giants played each other, one of those teams was going to have to drop. And then the Browns upset the Steelers. So, even if the Titans would have won, they would have went from 3 to 4, 3 to 5. They wouldn't have went no lower than that. So I don't understand the logic of saying you want to lose on purpose and not get your rookies reps. We all know in the combine these QBs is going to shoot up the board. I don't know. Depending on who comes out, I think you can see some edge rushers, some offensive linemen. I think you can see some cornerbacks. The cornerbacks are all kind of rated kind of low. I think it's some guys that can run some crazy 40 times. Nick Harbor is a guy that when people see him run, it's going to change his status. A lot of guys are going to go to the Senior Bowl and increase their status just by playing against the other seniors. They said, who that? Yo, GG's Lil D, man. Shout out to all the Saints fans out there. They said, we selling Russ to the Raiders for that number 1 pick. For one, you're not getting the number 1 pick out of Russell Wilson. You got a better chance of getting more out of Jameis Winston than Russell Wilson. And they was both on 1-year deals. You might got a different tone about Tyler. I mean, y'all got a good coach. I think as much as to be excited about Tyler Shook for the Saints fans, you should be excited that you really feel like you got the right coach. I mean, Kellen Moore is a play caller. He dialed up some shit that people was running butt naked today, and he got the young guys playing hard. So, like, if you're a Saint fan, you should be happy. Snead hurt. DeMarcus. L'Jarius Sneed has been indicted for alleged drive-by shooting. He could be healthy as a show horse, bro. Like, he's got indicted for being the driver to an alleged drive-by shooting where G-Wagon got shot up. I don't think he's thinking about football right now, bro. I mean, you think about Sneed, Cheetah Bay Awuzie, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Roger McCreary, Marcus Harris. Like, your top 5 corners are not even active to play football. And 3 of them are on other teams. It said the Saints. Yeah, Tyler Suck balled out today. See, Tennessee Titans got to get them an Olave, man. That's what we need, a number 1 receiver. He said, y'all better keep Chig. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying the whole time that Chig is one of 3 players in the last 29 picks that the Titans should extend. I don't think it's gonna cost them much if they go ahead and extend him to a team friendly deal. Even if they wanted to give him some kind of prove it deal, like keeping him as the move tight end and letting Gunnar Helm be tight end 1, maybe going to the draft and getting like a Lawson Lucky or, you know, a Joe Royer, maybe a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. You can get a big physical blocking tight end that can catch to go in between that trio. I don't think you spend that much to keep Chig as your move tight end. Zay was good. They said, wish you would have got a DK. Yeah, DK is a goon. Bill said, wait, you didn't know? Yeah, people had to remember, like, the Titans put 3 safeties on IR: Kevin Winston Jr., Xavier Woods, and Mike Brown. So you have Kendall Brooks, who was at Pizza Hut, playing free safety with Hallett, Jarek Reed. Like, that, this really is a practice squad secondary, but I ain't tripping because you get to see if these guys is worth keeping around. I think out of the DBs, maybe Baker Jr. in rotation in Elam, but next year, only person I'm bringing back is Marcus Harris, the rookie that was playing the best out of all our DBs before he got hurt and put on IR. So, you know, Titans got to spend some money in free agency at defensive back. Alontae Taylor, a Saint today that was balling out. I don't think he's coming to Nashville, but that's definitely a player that's going to be a free agent that I wouldn't mind having on as a starting cornerback for the Titans. He definitely a YN. Definitely. I don't wish legal troubles on anybody. I hope that L'Jarius Sneed is innocent and exonerated of charges and come back healthy next year, because the Titans are going to lose $8 million just by having to cut him if he's not available to play, because he had a quad injury before his indictment. Definitely proud of my boys. Might be a 6-8 win team next year on the way up. I mean, y'all could be next year if y'all make the right moves what the Panthers was this year. But like I said, y'all got some guys y'all got to decide who you gonna keep around for next year. Chig is definitely a part of the future. Said Chig did Kool-Aid dirty to get that touchdown. Big Jeff with a 10-sack season, not bad for a nose tackle. I mean, he leads the league in interior lineman sacks and tackles for loss. So, I mean, Big Jeff definitely had a season. But he needs help because Draymond Jones is balling on the Ravens. Have y'all not followed this theme that Draymond Jones is balling for the Ravens, who play the Steelers for a chance to get in the playoffs next Sunday? Hopefully the Ravens win that game. Steeler fans, don't be mad if the Ravens make the playoffs. We get a 4th round pick instead of a 5th for Draymond Jones, because I think he's got around 9 or 10 sacks. All he had to do is get to 7 and Ravens make the playoffs, and we get a 4th round pick. So another top 100 pick if Draymond Jones, if the Ravens make the playoffs next week. Going shopping next year. I mean, the Tennessee Titans got the most cap space, and they're gonna have a lot of draft picks. And looking at it now, the Titans should get a top 3 pick. I still think they should trade out of that top 3 pick. I think they should do what the Browns did last year. Trade back maybe a couple of spots and stay in the top 10, and then just take best player available, whether it's a receiver, whether it's a corner, whether it's an offensive lineman or defensive lineman. Like, I wouldn't be mad if we traded back in the top 10 and it's Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, or if it's Keldrick Falk, if it's Maui Goa, I wouldn't care. Just give me best player available and multiple picks. Buddha took Snead through that when he found out what he did. I actually didn't. I just was like, how do you get involved in a drive-by shooting when you rehabbing your leg and you got a $76 million contract and you somehow are on tape as allegedly as the driver to one of your mans, your security guy shooting at a G-Wagon. I hope that this story is false and some people just mad at him and he returns back, because I don't want the guy to lose a $76 million contract and what that could do for his family. So the plan is still to trade down or keep the better pick. I mean, let's say the Ravens make the playoffs and the Titans have a top 3 pick, a second rounder, a third rounder, 2 fourth rounders, the fifth, 2 6th, and a 7th, and a bunch of money, and you still got the potential that, if he was healthy, Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Xavier Woods, like, you still got pieces that you could still potentially trade, for 4th to 6th round draft pick capital on top of that. Titans got a lot of decisions to make. And Malik Willis helped our case by seeing a former Titan quarterback go to a good situation and ball out. That, some people could be looking at Will Levis the same way. Will Levis has all the skill set in the world. He just needs the right coaching. And maybe Callahan was bad. Maybe Callahan was more bad for Levis than Levis was for Callahan, if that makes sense. Because they definitely used Levis as the fall guy the same way that they did Malik Willis, and then look how good he's playing on since he's been in Green Bay. He said Big Jeff is not going to the Bears. Hendricks was good. You need that 4th. We take Mike Tomlin in Carolina. Definitely agree on the trade back, because Arvell Reese would be great, but he's the same thing that Femi was. He's a project. He's a guy that played linebacker that's going to play edge. I don't see how people get so excited for Arvell Reese, but not excited about Femi Oladejo. It's the same thing. It's a guy that plays stand-up linebacker that moved to edge and was really good off the edge, but he's a project, which meaning it's going to probably be the end of his first year or his second year before you really see the improvement. Femi was starting to make those improvements, and then he got hurt and put on IR. They shelved him for the rest of the season, but I mean, dude 6'4", 260 and fast as a running back, playing edge. If you see Femi, like, Femi looks like, a bodybuilder or something. Pause. But it's the same situation. Then it's like Keldrick Falk is got the prototypical Myles Garrett type of frame. Then there's Ruben Bain, who people down on him because he got short arms. The combine's gonna change a lot. Jordan Tyson is, considered wide receiver 1, but he's got an injury history. Then there's Carnell Tate, but everybody knows that Jeremiah Smith is better than Carnell Tate, but he'd be a 1 on the Titans. But do you just get a 1 because you're a bad team? Is keeping Carnell Tate worth trading back and potentially getting like a Denzel Boston and a Zachariah Branch with the pick you trade back for? No. If the Titans brought in, Denzel Boston or Chris Brazzell and then went and got Zachariah Branch at the end of the 3rd round, I think Zachariah Branch is going to be every bit as good or better than KC Concepcion. But, that's up in the air, because there's like Makai Lemon, there's KC Concepcion, and then there's Zachariah Branch. I think that, Zachariah Branch is going to be just as good as those other two, like that Amon-Ra St. Brown type of twitchy guy. But I still think the Titans should trade back and get as much capital as possible. Even though they got a bunch of bread, I got a new idea of what I think the Titans should do with the mock. I was playing around with it last night, and I'll kind of get into that. Titans got a lot of money free. And if you were gonna spend the money in places that you know you needed, Kevin Zeitler made $9 million this year for the Titans, and I think he's been underwhelming. To be fair, but the best offensive guard playing right guard in the NFL that's gonna be a free agent is gonna be Wyatt Teller, and he's 4 years younger than Zeitler. I'd throw some money at Wyatt Teller, and I would draft more linemen behind that, because you already got Jackson Slater that's going to play center or guard in the future. Preferably, I would be grooming him to be a center. But, I think the Titans should spend some money in the offseason at offensive line, defensive line, and cornerback. You fill in those three spots to where you come into the draft where you don't feel like you have to take offensive lineman high. You come into the draft where, like, let's say you got a Jalen Phillips, or you got one of these edge rushers. Let's say you had enough draft capital to trade for Max Crosby, because Max Crosby would be worth a second and a sixth. You have an extra 6th round pick. You could package up a future second and send for Max Crosby, and then towards the end of the draft, and with some of your guys you're going to trade and maneuver back into the second in the 2027 draft. I think it's a lot of different things that you can do if you're the Tennessee Titans.